Today, we're diving into a summary of Paul Rega's guide, How to Find a Job When There Are No Jobs. It's billed as a necessary job search and career planning guide for today's market, and we're about to find out why. It's a feeling a lot of us know all too well. The job market can feel just brutal, right? Especially when the economy's shaky, industries are changing, and layoffs seem to be happening all over the place. So many of us get stuck in that loop of sending out application after application and just not hearing anything back. It's frustrating. And that is exactly why a book like Paul Rega's is so important right now. It really is a beacon of guidance, and it offers strategies that go way beyond just, polishing your resume. It doesn't matter if you're fresh out of college, a seasoned pro thinking about a change, or getting back into the workforce. Rega really hones in on building up the resilience and confidence you need to actually succeed. So let's jump into the biggest takeaways from this guide, shall we? First, we're going to talk about building your strategic career plan. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of networking and how to actually stand out from the crowd. After that, it's all about getting the right mindset for success. We'll even explore some alternative paths you might not have considered. And finally, we'll pull it all together to create your own personal roadmap to success. Okay, let's kick things off with the foundation, the power of personal assessment and strategic planning. One of the absolute core ideas in the book is this concept called an intuitive personal assessment. So what is an intuitive personal assessment, or IPA? Well, think of it as a structured way to really figure out your career direction. The thing is, way too many of us make the mistake of just jumping into a job search with no real clarity. We end up reacting to whatever job listings pop up instead of proactively steering our own ship. It's called intuitive because it's all about looking inward and making sure your job search actually lines up with your natural strengths and what you truly want, not just what the market says you should do. To do this, Rega says you need to hit pause and ask yourself a few really important questions. First up, what are my core strengths and talents? Next question, which industries actually get me excited and line up with what I'm good at? And finally, this one is huge. What kind of work-life balance am I really looking for? See, by answering these questions honestly, you create an actual strategy, instead of just blindly chasing every opportunity that comes your way. It makes sure that the job you land is something that genuinely fits with who you are and where you want to go. Okay, so once you have that personal clarity, the next big piece of the puzzle is building a strong network. And honestly, this might be your most valuable asset. Why? Because a massive number of jobs are never, ever publicly listed. They get filled through referrals and connections, the hidden job market. Rega gives us some really practical tips on how to do this. Things like reaching out beyond just your close work friends, creating a LinkedIn profile that really makes an impact, and even reaching out directly to hiring managers. In this market, you have to tap into those hidden opportunities, and building relationships is a total game changer. Now let's talk about standing out in a sea of applicants. It's so tempting to just adopt that spray and pray method and blast out dozens of resumes, right? But Rega warns us that this quantity over quality thinking just doesn't work. Instead, the smart move is to tailor your applications thoughtfully and use some creative strategies to make yourself memorable. So how do you pull that off? Well, he breaks down some key techniques, like crafting resumes that are super powerful and directly relevant to that specific job, knowing how to work with recruiters effectively, and of course, mastering the art of salary negotiation so you can get paid what you're actually worth. And naturally, we can't talk about any of this without bringing up social media. In this day and age, it plays a massive role in your career development. Rega really emphasizes how you can use platforms like LinkedIn and even Twitter to build your professional brand and connect with key people in your industry. He recommends a few solid strategies here. Things like 1, optimizing your LinkedIn profile with tons of detail. 2, actually engaging in discussions in your industry to show you know yourself. And 3, using Twitter to follow and chat with other professionals. When you're active online, you really boost both your visibility and your credibility. All right, all these strategies and tactics are absolutely essential, but they won't get you far without the right mindset. And that brings us to our next point, the importance of resilience and adaptability. Because let's be real, job hunting can be an emotional roller coaster. And rejection, well, it's just part of the game. The absolute key, as Rega puts it, is to not internalize those setbacks. Instead, you have to learn to see them as stepping stones on your path to success. And he gives us some concrete ways to stay motivated. He suggests treating every setback as a learning opportunity, building daily habits to keep yourself mentally strong, and actively shifting your focus away from frustration and towards self-improvement. This change in perspective is everything. That idea of adaptability we just mentioned might also mean looking at some alternative career paths. For anyone who's having a tough time finding a traditional job, Rega really encourages you to seriously consider options like freelancing, starting your own thing, or taking on contract work. And you know what? There are some incredible benefits to these non-traditional roles. You often get a lot more flexibility and control over your life and your work. It's a fantastic way to build up a diverse set of skills. And you might even have the potential to earn more than you would in some salary jobs. So let's bring this all home and talk about your roadmap to success and why this advice is so incredibly important right now. The ideas in this book aren't just abstract theories. They're actual, actionable steps that can get you real results. The world of work is just constantly changing. Industries are transforming at lightning speed, and that old school apply and wait method, it just might not cut it anymore. That's what makes Rega's strategic and proactive approach so critical for anyone trying to build a career today. So for anyone out there who feels a bit lost on their career journey, this book is truly a roadmap to success. It helps you get crystal clear on your goals, play to your strengths, and handle all the inevitable challenges with some real, genuine resilience. It's a practical, inspiring, and honestly, a much-needed guide. So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's that you need a strategic, resilient, and multifaceted approach. It's not just about finding any job. It's about building a career that actually feels like, well, you. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. How are you going to build your roadmap to success?